Good afternoon, everyone. It's me again, and I've come back to complete my video with you simply because we had some technical difficulties when I was doing it the first time around. So here we go. I would also like to thank Cher for the great introduction to the Polaris Brain Gym and the Wellbeing Factory. Loads of amazing programs there and some wonderful people who are able to provide you with some great support and advice. Very talented, and some of them are actually speaking today, which is fantastic. I thank everyone who has been participating or who will be participating today, and their talks have been really mind-blowing. They've really opened up a lot of interesting aspects. I am really thrilled to be a friend of the factory. Now, in the video that I'm going to be talking to you about, it's about rethinking or perhaps reevaluating your career. And I'm also going to touch in on personal branding. If you have any questions during the video, please post them in the comments below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So ask away. This is fantastic. I know it's not an interactive session, so you may have questions of some of the things that any of us are talking about today. Also, do let me know that you're here watching and enjoying our videos. Just send us a heart or a wow or even a thumbs up. Everything is very welcome, and it lets us know that you're out there and you're watching. For those of you who are meeting me for the first time, my name is Sandra Scerri. I was born in Papua New Guinea, and I have lived and worked in different countries around the world. So very lucky. I've been training and developing people for more than 25 years. I'm also a business and life coach as well as a mentor, and I have recently gone into motivational speaking. I've been blessed with the opportunity to meet many incredibly interesting and fascinating people throughout my life, which has only enriched my way of thinking and my way of being. My life has been a series of major changes. Suffice it to say, I have lived on 3 different continents, 4 islands, 9 countries, and 24 cities or towns. Oh, and a boat. I've had 31 main homes and 10 in-transit homes. Now I live in Malta, and I am definitely a long way from where I began. Where are you all watching from today? Can you pop a little note in the comments below and let me know? It would be interesting to see who has joined us for this wonderful open day that we're hosting. Due to all the changes that moving around created, I have actually changed my career path at least 5 times, always aiming to better myself or find new challenges, until I finally found the right calling in my current career. This has led me into learning and development, and then into coaching and mentoring, both professions that I truly enjoy, and I love what I'm doing. I do have a side career, and this is something I really love and enjoy as well, and that is reading stories and singing action songs to children of all ages. Oh, it's so much fun. Certainly keeps me young and alive and ready to have lots of energy and get a lot more done. I'm very passionate about helping people unleash their potential and find happiness and success in their chosen career paths. So I chose today's topic because I believe in its importance. Change can sometimes be very scary, and that could stop us from even thinking about moving from where we are or doing something different. So rethinking your career, or perhaps ways to enhance or renew or add to, enrich, review options to succeed, these are really important aspects that you should consider. And especially with the situation that we find ourselves in today and the new normal that is going to be coming up very shortly. So whether we're happy in our current career or not, it is always healthy to give it just a little shake up and make sure that we have our career, like our CVs ready, and we know exactly what we want to do and how we're going to move forward. what we're facing right now is not the new normal. We are actually in transition. So think of it as being in a cocoon or a chrysalis, and we're just waiting for the time when we can break free and spread our wings. The new normal will begin once we get through all these trials and tribulations that COVID-19 has presented to us. The quarantining, the lockdowns, being unable to see family and friends. So when this happens, we need to be ready. We need to be ready to change and adapt and renew and perhaps revive a career that we have had to breathe more life into. Many people I talk to inevitably get around to talking about what will happen when this is all over and we can get back to our real lives, our normal lives. Well, recently I was watching a very interesting documentary about Michelle Obama. She was promoting her book, Becoming. And someone asked her this question, and it really resonated very loudly with me because it can apply to our lives today. So the question she was asked was, how does it feel to be transitioning from your life in the White House back to back to your life before the White House and how it felt to get back on track? And she hesitated and she turned around and she said, it's not about getting back on track. It's about creating a next track, my next track. It's about figuring out what I want to do and what I care about. And it takes time to process and figure out what all that means. Let's look at this from our current situation. Perhaps it's not about getting back to what our life was before COVID-19, but rather to a newer, better life that we want to embrace once we can freely do so. I read somewhere that someone said, we're all in the same boat. I would rather word it as we're all in the same storm. However, our boats and ways of navigating through the storm are very different. We've all reacted very differently to being in lockdown or in quarantine, and the emotions have been extremely different. During the last few months, we've had the opportunity to attend many interesting online programs, such as fitness sessions, learning sessions, learning new skills, gratitude mornings. There's been so much out there, and we may even have taken the time to think about the career that we're currently in and how we're going to move forward. Have you spent this time in lockdown even wondering if there is more for you out there? Maybe more in the way of a fulfilling career, or perhaps enhancing and developing and renewing the current career you have. Maybe sort of putting some more energy into it and finding ways to make it more viable and more interesting. Are you questioning your choices, or perhaps reaffirming your choice about where you are and that you're going to stay there because this is truly what you want to be doing? It could be that you have realized that there are things more important and essential to you now, and that what you need to do is take a deep breath, slow down, and just be rather than do. For some of you, life and work joined forces and you found you had to balance between the two. I'm sure that was fun. Watching as on some days that these two important aspects of your life did not always work in tandem, but perhaps jostled increasingly for your undivided attention and even showing you up if you chose one over the other. Did that happen to you? How frustrating that must have been. You may have started to remember dreams that were dormant because of necessity, and these dreams have now raised their heads again and nudged you into a new and different thought process. Maybe you've realized that what took up so much time and space in your thoughts is no longer as important as it was before. You're feeling different, and so you want something different. Now is the time to ask yourself, what is it do I truly want from my life? What is it that would give me the sense of fulfillment that I truly desire? How can I reignite the passion and joy I felt in my career? Am I truly happy where I am and what I'm doing? And is it time to rethink your career or some aspect of your career? The first thing you need to do is to understand why you want to change. What is it that is causing that sense of dissatisfaction, that sense of needing to do something different, needing to do something new? Is it the job, or the sector, or the company, or the country, or the type of work that you're doing? With this time away from the regular routine of day work, we may be reflecting and looking back on how our career has sustained us during these past years, and then weigh up whether it is time to move in a new direction or reaffirm that we're exactly where we need or want to be right now. And that's great. So I'd like you to think about a few things. Okay, so I'm going to put some questions forward to you, and I'd like you to really reflect on them and see if these are things that resonate with you. Can you see circles or patterns in your career path choices? So, in other words, have you done or are you doing a lot of much the same and not really nothing has really changed? And every time you've moved, it's been into a similar similar role, but in a different organization. So you feel like you've been going round and round and round in circles with no sense of direction and no sense of development and certainly nothing on the horizon. It's okay if you can actually see progress moving forward and you have maybe a possibility to create that opportunity. And if you do, get it done. Go out and get it created. Has your career become a habit? So you're doing what you do because it's what you do and what you've always done, and you feel there's absolutely no option to change. And it takes a lot of hard work to change. So you don't take the intentional steps to change towards something that's really important to you. That was just a dream from my youth, or that's something that, it doesn't matter anymore. Of course it does. It really matters. So start reflecting on the dreams that you had when you started out in your current role, and are they still fulfilling you? Are they taking shape? Are they manifesting in some way? Professionals change roles and direction all the time. It is scary and it does call for planning. And are you prepared to do that? Are you feeling tired, but not in a good way? All hardworking professionals know what it is to be tired. There's a good tired, and that is when you are exhausted from a week of intensive and important work, but at the same time you have that buzz of satisfaction, knowing you have really accomplished a lot, you've given it your best shot, and it's worth it. Bad tired is when you find your work draining and it's not energizing you anymore, and it's affecting other areas of your life. So work out what gives you energy and what makes you feel drained, and build that into your strengths and your ability to move forward. Is the organization you are working in a cultural mismatch, or perhaps it's a toxic environment that you feel you can't handle anymore? Organizational culture is very, very powerful and can work in your favor or against it. And it is very possible to influence and change culture at any level, and it's usually the responsibility of the leaders to proactively shape it. So are you in a position to do that? And if you are, do it. A negative or toxic work situation can affect performance, and that in turn will generate criticism from the leadership, which will then in turn generate unhappiness and discontent within you. So look at what is going on. Are you in an environment where the culture clashes with your strengths, your ethics, your values, and then it is not aligning? So you need to make a decision. Is this where you want to spend the next 5 to 10 to 15 years? Find out what is making you dissatisfied in the organization you're working in, and really look at what it is you can do to change. Think about, can you bring that passion back into work? And when you go out looking for another option, because you may actually go and get a job interview, but remember, A job interview is a two-way street. As you are being interviewed by the company so they check you're a right fit for them, you should be interviewing the company to see if they are a right fit for you. Because if your values don't match theirs, it'll never work. So find out what they value, what that value means in practice, how they make decisions, how they interact internally and externally with internal clients as well as external clients, and then base your decision on that. Finding the right cultural fit can make a big difference in your career, in your happiness, and above all in your productivity. Are your current circumstances at work affecting the other life areas or the other areas in your life that you feel you have now little or no control? When you see that your job is beginning to negatively affect how you interact with others, then you know that the job is affecting you, your mental and emotional health. Is it something you can change or improve on? If your job is currently throwing your life into chaos, it could be time to make a change. People who are in control of their life and their future believe they can achieve their goals and live longer and healthier lives. So look at the areas where you need to make your choices. I've asked candidates in interviews where they see themselves in 10 years, and I've had some very strange answers. But I had one where they told me they wanted to be the general manager of the place I was working in. Great, I said. So what is your plan to get there? Do you have a structure or an idea in place that is going to create the possibility for you to become the managing director? I did have a young man who told me he had a 5-year plan, and he clearly outlined what that plan was. Wow, he was hired. What about when you can't move forward, when you're in a rut and you're at a plateau in your life? It can be, if it's temporary, it can be desirable because it gives you time to think and to step back and to look at what you're doing. But if you can't get out of it, then it becomes a problem. And when you find you get too comfortable, you become complacent. So find a way to get out of that comfort zone and grow. Take back control. Look after your physical and mental health. How many of you got an elevator speech? How many of you have updated your CV? Even if you're not interested in moving from your company, keep your CV updated. Get your personal brand in order. I'm going to talk about that in a second. So as you reflect and reimagine, decide to be intentional, proactive, and courageous about building your career future. Make a plan, and then draw up a timeline for the changes you want to make, and think about how long it will take. Do you have outside support, people who can help you get there? What skills do you still need to learn or enhance? And are you ready to commit to the time that you need to get where you're going to go? So the big question, if you had a choice of careers in front of you, and there were absolutely no obstacles at all in your way, what would you choose? It's an interesting question, and I think a lot of people need to really take a deep breath and think about that. How much would you really, or do you really want that? And what are you willing to do to get it? How can you overcome all the obstacles that you are going to, for sure, put in your way? We do that for sure. It takes courage and commitment and a lot of faith. Find people who believe in you and will support you and encourage you. You need your own cheering squad so that you can get out there and be who you really, really want to be. And, believe it or not, a coach can be the best investment you've ever made. More than ever, now is the time to find a great coach. We can put you into the path that you've always been destined to be on. We just give you a little nudge. You do all the work. Easy, right? Before you consider changing yourself or researching where you want to be, take a look at who you are. and how you want the world to see you. I'm a great believer in personal branding. I love it. I think it's absolutely incredible. I was introduced to personal branding over 20 years ago by a person whom I consider to be one of the top personal branding gurus ever. And his name is William Arruda. And he said, what makes you unique makes you special. We're all special and we're all unique. We don't need to be like anyone else. A personal brand is the unique combination of skills and experiences that make you who you are. It's how you present yourself to the world, and it's clarifying and communicating what makes you different and special. It is taking control of your image, knowing what makes you different from everyone else. It's understanding and communicating your unique promise of value. It is authentic, real, and it's all about you. A personal brand has 3 C's. It is clear, it is consistent, and it is constant. You have to be that, or you need to be that all the time. So effective branding, personal branding, will differentiate you from the competition and allow you to build trust with your prospective clients, colleagues, and employers. Because you're being your true authentic self. You're not trying to be someone else. Don't be someone else. They're all taken. You're the only you there is. So just be you. Cultivating a personal brand has become more important than ever. And it's one of the main reasons why a lot of prospective employers are going to social media to check you out. According to a 2018 survey, 70% of employers use social media as a hiring process or to screen candidates during a hiring process. And 43% of employers use social media to check on current employees. They want to know what you're doing when you're outside of work. Be careful what you post anywhere. Showing your authentic self to the world is not a weakness, it is a strength, and I don't want you to forget that. However, your brand needs to reflect your choices, your beliefs, and your values. And the company who chooses you will value that because it will be a match. So the most exhausting thing that you can be is inauthentic. So don't try to be someone you're not. Brands take time to develop. It'll take hard work, commitment, and dedication to improving who you are and what you are capable of doing. If you don't brand yourself, someone else will. Please remember that. Don't be someone that someone else has made you to be, because that's not who you are either. I've made a great effort to cultivate my own brand, and it certainly reflects who I am. I know that I'm known for my training and facilitation skills and also the development of bespoke training programs. However, while that is still very much part of my life and who I am also a coach and a business and a mentor and a public speaker, because these are things that I have now moved into. I have a brand statement. So my brand or my positioning statement is, I can help you unleash your potential and discover endless opportunities to bring success and happiness into your chosen career path. Interested? I hope so. So a strong personal brand is the same at work as it is outside of work. So how can you be your authentic self at work and not at home, and vice versa? How exhausting would that be? So do you know your brand? If you know your brand, then you for sure know your worth. So before I end today and hand over to the lovely Jade Attard, I would like to share a story with you all. Before he died, a father said to his son, "Here is a watch that your grandfather gave me. It's almost 200 years old, and before I give it to you, I want you to go to the jewelry store downtown and see how much they offer you." The son went to the jewelry store and came back to his father and said, "They offered me $150 because it's so old." The father said, "Well done. Now I want you to go to the pawn shop." So off he went to the pawn shop and came back to his father and said, the pawn shop only offered $10 because they said it's so old and worn, it doesn't even work. And the father nodded and said, right, I want you to go to the museum and show them the watch. He went to the museum, came back and said to his father, the curator offered me $500,000 for this very rare piece because they want to include it in their precious antiques collection. Wow, interesting. And the father said, I wanted to let you know that the right place values you in the right way. Don't find yourself in the wrong place and get angry if you are not valued. Those that know your value are those who appreciate you. So don't stay in a place where nobody sees your value. Know your worth. You were created for greatness. So you deserve to shine. So if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Hey, how's that for great? I hope you've enjoyed the video, and thanks for listening to me if it's again. And I apologize for the technical difficulties I found myself in earlier. As you know, this is a free event. However, we would really appreciate any donations you may wish to send us in order to help Polaris remain open for as long as the effect of this pandemic is around. The details of how to make a donation will be posted below. Don't forget, please leave your comments and questions below, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Coming up now, as I said, is the lovely physiotherapist, Jada Todd, and she's going to talk to you about something I think we're all affected with, is a sitting disease, and how can we look after ourselves better as we spend so much time sitting at our desks. Stay safe, and thank you for joining me today again. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye now.